Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're building another model from RC Factory, and this time up it is the Synergy, which is an indoor foam model, very similar to the Click 25 which we built last time round. Was probably the last video on my channel. So we're going to build this one, do a quick comparison and then go and fly it. So let me start off by showing you what's going inside. Okay, so this is going to be exactly the same setup as the Click 25. So we've got the D6M servos, which you can see here, which are working well in the Click 25, which I've now flown about 10 times. And there's the spec on the back. We have our Vultra ESC, which is a 15 amp ESC, ready to go there. I'm going with the Votava R3204 SB receiver, which is a very small receiver. See it compared to my thumb there. It's very light as well. See it's a kind of thin profile there. I did have one of those ones that you kind of solder all the wires onto, which I was going to put in the Click, but I decided to go against it and use this because it's just easier to connect rather than it is to solder. And then of course we have our T motor, the AT2202, weighing 14.5 grams there, all ready to go in as well. And I'll probably do the same as what I did last time and take the wires off the ESC by unsoldering them here and then put the motor directly to the ESC, just make it a little bit tidier. So let's now have a closer look at the model. So as per the last one as well, this one's been kindly supplied by Aerobatic, so thank you to Clive and Mandy for sending this out to me so promptly. So fully EPP construction, which apparently you can build in 2 evenings. I'll come back to that. Recommended power system, so on and so forth. Servos, micro receiver, prop, wingspan 835mm, length 945. All up weight should be between 115 and 140. And as per always, the manual is available on any product page. So you go to Aerobatics, find this kit, and then you'll see a link to the PDF manual. But let's have a look inside the box. Looking inside the box, so very similar. There's our rudder. So the rudder post is on the front section, and the actual fin on the back section, the rudder itself. We have our wings, and this is the competition edition, which I believe is a little bit lighter, and I think the only way they can make it lighter is by putting less paint on it or less print on it. Might be wrong in that. If you do know, then correct me down below in the comments of this video. So a couple of wings, always good to have 2. Horizontal stabilizer, and an absolutely massive elevator, which I like to see. Definitely need big control surfaces when you're flying indoors. I kind of learned that over the last couple of models I've built and flown now. Have some wing fences and bits and pieces there. Top canard as well. Wing spats, obviously everything all very, very thin. It's 4mm, super light. I'm going to weigh this model, give you the all up weight of it once it's finished with my install. Another top canard, the other one was the bottom. I think that's what they're called. Now these, I didn't put on the last model on the Click, and I might go back and do that. Actually, I think they're on the side there. Yeah, there they are. So that's go. So these are like air brakes. You attach them to the wing. You put, well, you can't really see it, but you push out all these centerpieces and make up like a frame section. Attach them to the wing, and they help slow the model down. So they might be really useful on downward lines, is what I'm thinking, just to try and slow the model down a little bit more when you're coming vertically down. So I think we'll give those a go after we've done the Maiden and see if we can do a bit of a comparison on it. Half the fuselage, rear section, front section there, which goes on after you've put the wing together or after you put the carbon straightener on. And here we go, the side profile of the fuselage. God, don't look chunky. That does look really chunky. I like that. I've actually got the Click behind me, so have a quick comparison. Spin round in my messy workshop. So that was the last one we built, and I say that was probably his last video on my channel. I tend to queue them up. And this is the Synergy. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, so hopefully this works as a bit of a comparison. If I just drop this one into shot. There we go. So it does look like it's got a chunkier profile, chunkier nose section. I could get the rule out and measure it. Possibly a very slightly shorter fuselage, I would suggest. A very, very similar model indeed. So it'd be good to compare them. I'm not sure if I'll compare them on this video. I might do that next time round, take them both flying at the same time and do a proper comparison. Let me know if you're interested in me doing that. If not, I obviously won't. But this video really is just going to be about building this one and getting it flown. Okay, so back to the rest of the box contents. Just seen the fuselage, pop that on the side for a moment. We've got these pieces here that pop out and go on the back of the actual elevator and ailerons themselves, just to give you a little bit more drag and slow it down. Also, I think help the control surfaces when they're flying slow, when you're flying slow. Have the hardware kit, which is just a few bits of plastic pieces that we'll glue along on the way. Ignore that. That's just for the structure that's underneath each aileron. You actually have carbon fibre under each aileron, otherwise it'd be too flimsy without. Then of course, I think the thing that puts most people off building on these is kind of the vast amount of carbon fibre you get that you have to glue to the model. But to be honest with you, having now done two, it's not as bad as it looks. There's a lot of carbon fibre there. Most of it is cut to length, and most of it is fairly obvious as to where it goes. There's a few flat pieces in there. The rest of it is just thin 1mm round or 1.5mm round. In the last kit, in the click, there was just 5 pieces you had to cut to certain lengths. It told you that in the instructions. Talking of which, I've also gone ahead and buried the instructions. I've gone ahead and printed out the manual. So if you haven't seen these before, if you didn't follow the last build, they're pretty reasonable to follow, especially if you've done one already, because they are all pictures. So again, look, the step 1, just getting the right components out. Step 2, weighting down the hinge lines on the elevator, on all the control surfaces basically, which you do for an hour. So quite easy to follow, so you can get through them quite quickly. 3, put some activator on. 4, put some sino on, and then already look, you're sticking half the wing onto the fuselage. So you start going through them quite quickly. Carbon, that's the right size carbon for this piece. Tells you what to do, tells you to mark the centre of it, 340mm in. Tells you to glue from the centre and go outwards. So already you've done a page worth of instructions. So don't be put off by that either. I was, when I first looked at the instructions and first printed out the ones for the click, which I think had 220 steps in it. And this one has a very similar amount, 224, and you're done. So let me just give you my thoughts on that and tell you how we're going to go about this build. I think, you know, if you've not done indoor flying before, I thoroughly recommend it. I've had a lot of fun doing it. Matter of fact, I'm a little bit addicted to it at the moment. The only thing slowing me up is finding the time to do it, but also booking the hall. So my local sports hall, you can book online, which is great. You can book it for an hour at a time, or an hour slot at a time. Obviously you can do 2 or 3 hours if you want to, but the expense adds up a little bit. It's £45 per hour. Not too bad if you share it with some buddies though. So last time round, 3 of us went flying, split the cost equally, and it wasn't too bad. And the hall that I've got, or the hall that's closest to me, you can probably get 4 people flying. In bigger halls, you can probably get 10 people flying. So if you're paying £45 an hour, 2 hours, £90, 10 people, £9 each. So it's not too bad. So it can be a little bit more cost effective doing it that way. From my point of view, I think with this build, what we're going to actually do is, because it's so similar to the Click 25, which we've just done, and I showed quite a bit of that build process, I'm probably just going to leave the camera running some angle on the side and let it go through quite quickly. Now it does say 2 evenings you can get this model done. I mean, 2 evenings are quite vague. Your evening could start at 5 o'clock and finish at 10 o'clock, so it's 10 hours. For me, roughly from memory on the Click 25, I probably did it in about 6 hours. 6 hours-ish, and that was stopping and starting and filming and talking to you guys throughout it. So I'll leave the camera on the side this time around. We'll speed through this section. I may stop and talk about a few things and point them out, or may go straight through. I don't know yet. I've not started. But I'll try and make a note of how long it's taken for those of you who are interested, and I'll make a comment on that once the model's built. So with that, I'll get the glue ready. Okay, so I'm going to make a start then. I will just kick us off by saying I have already pre-weighted all these control surfaces down. So that's the process of basically getting any control surface, bending it right over, then applying some weight along the hinge line and leaving it for at least an hour. I did all of mine, left them for 2 hours earlier on, so they're all done. It was actually done over the weekend. Left them for a good couple of hours, just weighting them down with batteries, so that bit's ready to go. So now it's just a case of starting with the fuselage, getting both wings on, and then the first piece of carbon, and you'll see all of a sudden this all starts getting a lot stronger very quickly. Right, let's change the camera angle. Okay, so it turns out it's really hard getting a camera angle that works and still allows me to work on the bench. So I'll go for this angle, but we're going to speed up the footage anyway. And feel free to skip ahead as well if you want to and just go and see the test flight. That's absolutely fine. No problem with that. Right, so let's get started. Activator, CA, fuselage. Here comes the carbon. It does feel like there's a lot of carbon, but let's not let that put us off. Right, 340. So that's the right piece. So this piece was actually a little bit challenging to glue on the first one, so I tried gluing it all in one go on the click. So I'm just going to glue the centre section first, let that go off, and then do the rest of it, and hopefully we don't get stuck to the bench at the same time. So glue I'm trying out this time around is by Bob Smith Industries, extra thick glue, sent via aerobatic, so thank you guys for that. I've also got some foam tack to try as well. Not tried either of these before. Okay guys, so there you go. The Synergy by RC Factory is done and it is ready for the Maiden. Overall, that probably took me about 4.5 hours. In fairness to actually build, I did it in 2 separate sessions, so 2 evenings like they suggested. It is the second one I've built, so to find it a bit easier than obviously building the first one. If you're about to have a go at one of these, allow yourself at least 6 hours. I mean, there's no rush, you know, head over forward, just take your time. Use lots of super glue and use Kicker. Kicker is definitely your friend to kick off that glue quicker to allow it to dry in place accurately. So there's a few odd little fiddly bits on there. But then any model that you're building of this size, when it's fragile, it's got small parts in it, is going to get fiddly from time to time, and you will get super glue on your hands for sure. Just don't rush it. So I've decided to go with the battery up front. That's roughly where it's balancing for me at the moment. That's a 400 pack on there, but I'll probably fly it maybe with the 250. We'll just do that for the test flight, see how it works out, and I think that should be okay. Movement, I've left everything at 100% movement, and I've put -45 expo on all control surfaces. I've dialed down the elevator very slightly, whoops, just a little bit because it was hitting that rod at the back there which goes down to the rudder, and that's about it really. That's all I've got to say on that. So I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks absolutely great. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think, and the nice fat fuselage there on the side profile, just notice. I think it looks really good. I can't wait to go and fly it, which is exactly what we're about to do now. Okay guys, so we finally made it down to the hall. Slight pause in between the build and actually test flight because I flew over to Dubai, so look out for that content coming soon as to why I was over there. But we're now back in the hall with the Synergy. I'm by myself again, unfortunately, but hopefully I'll be able to get enough footage for you guys to be able to see how this flies, and I'm just dying to fly it. So I thought, you know what, why not go and book an hour? As a matter of fact, I actually lost my job yesterday, to be really honest with you. So this is my therapy, coming out here today for an hour before I go job hunting this afternoon. But enough of that, let's give this a go. Everything's set up and I can't wait. So hopefully we can get enough footage for you guys to see what this goes like. And the CFG was done. Oh, perfect. I like this already. Whoops, close to the floor there. Super smooth. Hold the knife edge with next to no rudder. Slow it right down. Oh, that was a big tail slide. Very. That's better. Once the power on over the top of the stall turn. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I think I pulled over too tight, but I got away with it, touched the floor. Oh, let's try that again. Come along for a 45-degree upline in the middle. No, 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 no. Plenty of power. Flying around on just under half throttle.
Seconds.
Oops. Turns on the rudder so quick. It's ideal for indoor flying. Forgiving as well.
Seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Better land it, I suppose, as buzz has gone off, but I'm enjoying this so much. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I loved that flight. That was just easy, just easy, really easy to control, very forgiving as well, very similar to the Click. I've not flown the Click for about 2 weeks, but at the moment I think I'm preferring the Sinji. That may change if I was flying both back to back. But yeah, I like that.